Welcome to Instant Discussions, episode 49, I think it is this time.
You still haven't checked?
No, I'm pretty sure
We
it's
should
49
probably
this
check.
time. No, because the
almost
last
like 52.
No, we're almost at
52?
50 is going to be
52 is the reboot, so
50's been 52 because years. Don't worry
seasons
about that.
change and time passes by.
Don't worry about that stuff. We're going to be discussing trading places for this special Christmas.
Get it?
So,
You should also flip it now. Just troll the shit out of me.
Yes, this is our special Christmas episode, and so we're picking the probably second best Christmas movie, in my opinion, on Netflix Instant Watch. They finally added the holiday section on there that I saw, holiday favorites. It's a lot of crap on there. Sure is terrible.
I think I saw Jingle All the Way was one of the first.
It didn't even put that on mine.
Okay.
It had Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which was probably the best one I saw on there.
No, the best one had to be Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was shopping. That's what it was. I was shopping on Amazon, and for some reason, Christmas Jingle All the Way was in a Home Alone bundle, and I was just like, "What the?"
It's the classic, you know. All right, so Trading Places is a comedy movie of 1983 about two old white men who create a scientific experiment to find out whether nature versus nurture
for science.
For science,
It's very important.
Yes,
for science.
which dictates behavior. Is it the surroundings or is it the person themselves?
Yeah.
So they take a rich man, switch him with a poor man, flip it around, and try to turn a really good, upstanding citizen into a criminal, and turn the criminal into the upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
And it's all for a little bet, and so that's why what it's about.
Bit preachy of me.
Yeah.
$1.
Now, this was, of course, based on Mark Twain's classic novel, The Prince and the Pauper. Of course.
Was it really?
Well, to the extent that
I heard the
he's
title and I
two
instantly
people.
thought of it from Twain. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mark who?
Mm-hmm. Some racist guy.
Yeah.
So
That's like their super white names. Mortimer.
Mortimer, yeah.
Here's Mortimer.
They remind me a lot of Statler and Waldorf, but a very much happier version.
Who?
The two old Muppets.
Oh, the Muppets.
Yeah. So favorite things about this movie. I think my favorite thing about it, just the entire plot of it. Like the idea behind it of them switching, Dan Aykroyd's character is kind of odd in this one. They're both kind of odd people, but the way he's such that up.
Eddie Murphy's still Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, he's very Eddie Murphy in this.
Dan Aykroyd probably isn't as much Dan Aykroyd as he usually is, I don't think. But
yeah,
he's a different kind of person. He's the upper echelon guy, very elitist Dan Aykroyd.
what was this rated?
R.
Is it?
there's boobies.
You don't. It wasn't rated R. There's no possible way it could be anything under R, but I mean, it could be NC-17. I'm sure.
No, but this is 1983.
In 1983, you can't get away. There's nothing. You can't. You would not be able
Don't
to
you know
do
that?
this.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Don't bother me.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely R.
RDRR.
It was the second highest earning R-rated film of 1983.
Wow.
So yes. What was your favorite thing in this, Steffan?
My favorite thing in this. I think I don't know. I think I'm on almost the same page as you actually, John, because it's well structured. It's just it's a concept, and I think it's well executed.
Yeah.
As a movie.
It's in that kind of concept, that idea of the switching, because I mean you think of, you go back to The Prince and the Pauper and the other versions you've seen of that with just someone switching out. Oh, I want to see what it's like to be rich. I want to see what it's like to be poor, and their motivations are a lot different on that one. And this one, it reminded me a lot of The Game. In the sense that it's other people manipulating.
We did that
those
movie.
people. Yeah. It's the people manipulating them, and they don't have the control. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
The experiment is being done without them. It's that observer effect that you're eliminating. They're going to act how they're naturally going to act because they don't know they're being observed. They don't know that this is an experiment.
Yeah.
Whereas with the typical Prince and the Pauper scenario where the two choose to switch with each other, they know that they've gone and switched their roles in this way. They're more aware of it. So, all right. How about you with your what's
My favorite thing was watching the movie and then using, the word faggot and nigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, it's 1983.
You were
that's
excited
right.
to use that after you watched the movie?
No, I was just like, because the way they do it, it was like,
And then you-
hey, good with faggots. And you're like, oh yeah, this is
It's-
83.
It's very
Like, you-
jarring.
But yeah, I was like, oh, that's right. You
That
could
was like middle of AIDS epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Started.
But you could get away
30
with that
years ago?
back then, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
30 years ago. Yeah, released in June of 1983. This Christmas movie released in June of 1983. How timely that they had released.
I just remember when I was born. I'm like,
But
that wasn't too far from when I was.
It's weird to see it
Right.
used in such like almost an
Right.
innocent way, though.
It's been that long since I've been.
Because now, like, the bad guy uses those words, or like, the racist. But here it's just like,
No, it's,
even though
it's
they are the
matter-
bad guys, it was kind of just more like,
It's matter
Yeah.
of fact.
yeah.
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 It's
I
just
was
very
like-
matter of fact.
And it kind of put a little smile on my face.
It felt more like they were just saying, oh yeah, he's black.
And oh my gosh, what's up with Jamie Lee Curtis? I didn't realize she had a body like that.
it's all that yogurt she's eating.
Yeah.
You know, it really helps
her
out.
correctly.
This was interesting because I had never seen this in its. I'd only seen it on television before, so
like
that was definitely all a surprise to me. Yeah,
Comedy Central.
yeah. Just it's on TV. It was on TV so constantly
I don't
as a
know
kid.
why
There's
I've
no
seen
reason
it.
for me to go outside of that. So that was all a surprise. I did not know any of that was in the movie, but it all made sense afterwards.
I don't own it, but I know I've seen it quite a few times.
So, least favorite parts of the movie. I'm going to start the ball rolling with a little man named Jim Belushi. He also appeared in Jingle All the Way, another one of our holiday picks. And I think he was one of the worst parts of the movie. That whole gorilla sequence with all the
yeah, the
gorilla
gorilla
stuff.
part was kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part.
But then again, it's the 80s, so it kind of gets away. You kind of get
No,
away with it.
you don't get away with it because you look at other films that have come out around that time, and even before that time, you still are making great movies. Like you don't have to throw in terrible,
Tron,
stupid
yeah.
stuff in there. I don't know, Godfather stuff. I don't know, stuff like that. You've made great films already. You don't need to.
That's interesting.
You don't
I don't
need
know.
to make gorilla.
But back then,
stuff
you
in
could
there.
get away with it more.
Sure, you can get away with it. I'm fine with that. But I'm saying it was still not my favorite part of the movie.
Doesn't sound
Was
like
it your favorite part of the movie? Did you love the gorilla part?
Yeah, I didn't love it.
yeah.
I don't think I had as much of a problem with it though.
I don't like turn off the movie because of it.
Oh no.
I'm just saying that's my least favorite part.
But you
of
don't
the
turn
movie.
off movies
No. Well, I do turn off some movies.
in the middle of it.
Yeah, but they're not really movies. Well, yeah, I turn off some movies. If I'm not, I don't walk out of a theater.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll turn off movies. There are terrible movies out there. Unless if we're watching it for this thing, I'm not gonna turn it off. Did you have a
that'd be
part
pretty
that you
funny.
didn't like in the movie? Was there anything you didn't like? Or you just love it all?
I mean, it's just the thing is like because it's 30 years old,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, and that's the thing is it's like it's 30 years old, and for me, like it's a lot slower. It's a lot slower paced, just in.
Yeah, I thought it held
a
up,
little.
actually.
I didn't think it was that slow paced.
But
I was expecting it to be slower, actually,
Yeah.
from remembering when I had first watched it.
It seemed pretty swift in it for my.
I don't know.
taste.
There were a few moments I was just like,
So you're just that was so you didn't like you'd
Walking
like it to be a little faster there.
I mean, I can understand like because I understood what the purposes of it was because it was like character development. Maybe it's just and it probably is just because I've watched it before many times and I remember things.
You know what's gonna happen, and you're just waiting for the parts you remember.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think for me, just going back after now going through 30 years of other Eddie Murphy stuff, like if this is the first time I had seen it and I didn't have that like nostalgic like Trading Places, I'd be like, oh well, that's just like every single other Eddie Murphy.
Exactly. If this is a new film you're watching, you're like he's just doing his same thing.
Yeah.
But this time he's just
One of the
it's
original,
one
I
of the newer
guess.
ones.
Yeah.
Or the first one of that. So that was it.
That party was kind of like corny.
Which party?
The first party,
The first party that he was
Yeah.
throwing.
like all of a sudden he's like, hey,
Hey,
cigarettes on the floor.
Sugar coaster.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
really? It's not gonna happen in a day.
I don't know. It was a little quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe. So ratings for this movie.
I give it a 4.
I give it a 4. That's what I originally had on there, and I'm not going to change that. And it's kind of because it falls into a lot of the traps of the '80s comedy and the way that they're not the little overacting in places. It's not so clean in it, and the crazy gorilla mask and the people saying not able to think that guy's.
Oh yeah, it's like you
gorilla.
really think that's a gorilla, like.
Stuff like that happening in it.
That's
like
right. That part did bug me.
that loses that stuff. Like all of that stuff builds up together. Where this would be like a 3-star movie for me, but because I love the story of it, and how it's done, that gets that extra star. So like normally it would give that 5-star movie if it hadn't had that stuff in it. So it's like a 3-star movie, but I love it, so it gets the 4-star. Whereas normally if it hadn't had that, it would be a 4-star that gets that 5. So
I see.
yeah. So that's the 4-star that it gets there.
4 stars.
Yeah.
Right there with you guys. I mean,
I thought it held up for an '80s movie.
It's a total classic.
With all the shit that came out in the '80s, like this still holds up. I watched it, I laughed, like I was pulled into the story. Even though it was a little
Spaceballs came out.
And if like me, you've only seen it on television, and then you're watching it again here, it's a nice surprise. You get this extra stuff in there you didn't know was there before.
Boobs.
Yeah, I didn't know Jamie Lee Curtis had been naked in a movie before. But I haven't watched
Dread Pirate
movies.
What the heck is that? Dread Pirate. Which one is that?
Dread Pirate Roberts, the Princess Bride.
Yeah, Princess Bride came out.
But that's. I mean, there's a lot of movies we remember that are good movies. Like, but there was a ton of horrible '80s.
Spaceballs. It falls into a lot of the same traps as this, and that's because we could talk about that movie.
Oh, but Spaceballs. No, that's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's
but
supposed to be like a corny parody.
That deserves its own discussion. If that ever gets on there, we can talk about that. But so Trading Places. Thanks for watching that with us. Now this one we're going to hold off on what the next pick is going to be.
Okay.
Because next week it'll be our 50th episode. I don't care that a year has 52 weeks in it. You're inclined to 50. It's a nice even number because then you do the 100 next time. So next week we are going to have a very special episode where we're going to discussions. That's a lot of S's in there.
Instant discussions.
We're gonna discuss the last 49 episodes, including this one, and our lost episode.
The lost episode.
Well. Yes. So you can join us for that little retrospective, and then after that, you can join us at the beginning of 2014 for the next pick in the series, which we'll let you know at the end of next week's episode. But thank you for watching. You can continue. We'll get really in depth to all of the uncensored stuff in Trading Places and the crazy things that they got away with in 1983 on the rest of this podcast or in the next video. So thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah. Wait,
yes.
Really Christmas is the only one left. All the other ones have already happened.
America.
Happy New Year.
Merry America.
Bye. Merry America.